We can start. To do the prayers. Bala.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकम् सत्यं परं धीमहि सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैवं नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये ततो जयमुदीरये the share. We had started the 9th canto. One second.
So the 8th canto was for more on the Pralaya, Mahapralaya, and the withdrawal of the cosmic manifestation. And I was just going through the commentary by Tejomayananda ji. He introduces two words in there called Dharma and Sadharma. I found that interesting. So Dharma Dharma is when we do some good, some work, some yajna, some kind of good work which helps, which is dharma karya. Okay, but there is a sense of I am the doer in that. Sadharma is when it is the God who is doing it and I am just an instrument in that. So even when we do dharma, so it is the God who is doing and I am just an instrument in that process. That's all. Then that becomes sadharma. The right way of doing even dharma. So we say, even earlier we had seen the story of Daksha Prajapati, who does the, he is doing a yajna in reality for Loka Kalyana, but he does not recognize the supreme power of Lord Shiva. And he thinks he is the doer. So then the Lord comes to remove his ego. And the yajna gets fulfilled. Repeatedly we see that this is a constant thread across. Even when we see Bali Maharaj, he was a very great king. Wonderful king, very generous, held on to dharma there. Very strongly he was holding on to the dharma, but he, somewhere that I-ness came into him and he conquered. The conquering the three worlds is also fine. That is fame. That is Aishwarya, conquering the three worlds in a way. But after that, that little I conquered and it is mine came in. And when Vamana came there, he said, it is all mine. Why are you asking just 3 steps? Everything is mine. I can give you more, please. So that mine came in. That everything belongs to me and I am giving came in. So again, even though he was such a wonderful king, but yet that I-ness, so it is the compassion of the Lord out of which he is acting and he is removing that ego there also. But because Bali Maharaj himself put his head down and he says, put the third, he recognized, he knew what was going to be his ending. He recognized the Lord and he said, now, he recognized his mistake. He himself recognized his, and he put his foot down. So he went to Sutala and there the Lord himself, Bhagwan himself comes and is his gatekeeper, protecting him until all his vasanas are cleared. Beautiful. And again, we see the story of that is what we see. And even in Matsyavatara, Satyavrata thought he was protecting the fish. It is in such subtle ways. This is how Tejamaya Nanaji puts it, even here. That little thing that this fish is struggling, let me protect the fish. And he protects the fish and the fish asks for more and more protection and he puts it back in the bigger and bigger and bigger vessel and finally puts it in the river and the ocean itself. So ultimately, so he realizes that he is the one who is protecting. I am not the one who is protecting. So that it is such a minute level of, but that is God's grace to even, so finally at that level, it is God's grace to remove that kind of ego. He manifests and he comes in. So the Matsyavatara came in after the Chakshusha Manvantara, and then Pralaya has happened. And and Satyavrata becomes the Manu. Because that little I-ness is also removed and then he becomes the Manu prepared for the next Manvantaras, to be the next Manvantaras, Manu. And one thing is during that, when in that boat they are going, the boat is nothing, boat is nothing but earth itself, which is floating in that cosmic ocean. being led by the divine as the fish in the horn. And as he is going, Satyavrata asks the Matsyavatara of Lord Vishnu to tell him the secrets of the Pralaya. And it is said that Mahavishnu tells him the secrets of Pralaya and creation and why Pralaya happens and creation. And that became the Matsya Purana later.
This is so beautiful. So, as an individual, within our capacities, we are, in the dharmic path. Dharma protects. Yeah. But that small little ego is the final individual identity, can be taken out only by the grace of the Lord. Right? That's what came. So, after that only, with absolute no ego, Sat Dharma happens through that instrument.
Correct.
So, many years ago, when I was listening to Swami Aparajitanandaji, Sundarakanda, Ramayana, he was very beautifully bringing in lot of symbolism in that. So, in that, he mentioned Vibhishana Sharanagati. Yeah, as see, Vibhishana was in the Vasha of the 10 Indriyas, Ravana. Okay, even though within, very dharmic, because he was very devout. Devotion was there within him. Yeah, Vibhishana, he had symbolized as the individual ego. Yeah, and all this Ravana as the Indriyas. So, even though the ego was getting purified, the individual self was getting purified, was completely, dedicated to the Lord, yet it was within the control of that Prakriti, the, nature. So, first, Hanuman comes in the form of a guru, yeah, to give that strength and direction, to say that there is a way out. You are here, because Vibhishana until then, though he was continuously chanting the name of Hari, he was surrounded by asuras only. Yeah, there was no other, no satsanga for Vibhishana, if we look at it. That is why Vibhishana Sharanagati is considered a very, I think that comes first. Only after that, the Draupadi, and third is Gajendra, they say in Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, Vibhishana, in spite of no satsang, but yet, the devotion was there. So, Bali also, if you see, he was very devoted, right? Very dharmic way. That is why, even though his guru told that it is Narayana himself, he said, if I can give to Narayana, then it is a blessing. That was how Bali looked at it. So the devotion was there. But finally, by Bhagavan's grace, he makes the ego surrender to him. The ego has to surrender finally. So Vibhishana also, when he realizes the futility of the Indriyas. When the ego at one point realizes the complete futility of this entire whatever, the Indriyas are perceiving, and the world around, we call it, the thoughts, the beliefs, everything, in asat. So all the asat, all those that are temporary, and the ego realizes that for it to realize that is also an asat, it has to surrender to the Lord. So Vibhishana is that kicking out by Ravana. He very beautifully said, that is why buddhi is taken as that the most subtle thing which can not reach. The buddhi is the one which can even what do you say, buddhi grahyam, they say, no, it can grasp the truth, when it becomes more subtle and subtle, when the buddhi realizes that the outer ones are all asat, and more and more it is able to absorb in the divine, it becomes subtle and subtle. So the more and more Vibhishana was absorbed in the divine, the Indriyas themselves kick him out. So he surrenders to the Lord. That is when it is the total ego surrendering to the Lord. And then what Lord does? Immediately he does Rajabhisheka for him. That is Sat Dharma, right? So then the same individual self with not identifying itself as a separate one. Okay, identifying it as a servant of the Lord does the work that is bestowed on that individual. So, Rama immediately gives the Raja Abhisheka, and after Ravana was, Vibhishana takes over. That is the Satdharma, right? So, so many things in our, it is very beautiful because you brought this up. I remembered the beautiful symbolism.
That's beautiful. So same way, one thing when you were talking that came up, we had this weekend Bhagavatam retreat at the Nasimha Prahalada Leela. It was just beautiful to go over that over the 2 days. So one thing the Prabhu there, he told, which really stayed with me. It was very subtle, very simple way of telling how the ego can come up in us and get established and make us get identified with the body. There were very young children this time who came and did beautiful kirtans. That was a kirtan group. So one was playing the mridanga, the other was playing the kartal, and one child was singing. Each child was singing in turns and all that. It was beautiful, beautiful rendering of the kirtans. And then the Prabhu said, see, now this is so beautiful. Just chanting the name of Krishna is so nice. Now you keep chanting this. Don't get into, I like this raga, Hare Krishna in this raga, and I don't like Hare Krishna in the other raga. Or don't say, okay, I like this better, so I will only sing this. Or I don't like this, I will not sing that. Don't get into that, because then again in this whole Hare Krishna chanting, what you are doing is you are going into raga dvesha. I like this, I don't like this. So I will do this and I will not do this. So, and many times, it is something is pleasurable, something I perceive as pain, it creates this raga dvesha. So this is a form of I-ness. The more I give in to this little, it may seem subtle. If I say I like this food, I will eat this food, I will not. I don't like this food, so in every area you can apply. It was so subtle when he can tell in raga of a tune, any work that I am doing. When a baby comes, I will not say, oh, I will feel initially, or maybe you don't even feel. I have to clean its poop or change its diaper, and I have to give the milk. All of this now, there's no raga dvesha. Everything has to be done. So it is moving from that raga dvesha to that space of equanimity. The more we get into, I like this, so I want to do only this. This is not my cup of tea, or I will not do this. This is kind of a polarization. It is not coming from a space of equanimity. So in that equanimity, I say what is needed, I will do. Every work is Krishna's work. Only anything that is that to the best. I may be the best, I may not be the best, but if it is needed to the best possibility, I will do to my best possibility, whatever I will. So then it is about moving from that raga dvesha makes me more attached to the body, and moving to that equanimity cause that I-ness and brings it to that state of, so even for the children and all, that is why we say, eat all kind of food. There was this story I heard about some person was just talking. When I was very young, I went and told my mother made some food, and I asked this person, and that my mother said something. He said, I don't like this. So the mother said, this is a house, this is not a hotel. Whatever is there, you eat. He said, I will not eat this. I don't like this. I will not eat it. The father said, it's okay. If he's not eating, leave him. So he went to sleep without eating that day. Next day morning also, he was angry because now his mother didn't make him and he let him go hungry. How could they let me go hungry like this kind of thing? How can parents let their children go hungry? He went to sleep, and the next day morning also, he didn't have breakfast and he went off. And then when he comes in the evening, that day he sat and he ate everything that was made, because now he knew hunger. When we don't know hunger, we eat only for our senses. But now that he knew hunger, he understood the value of food. And he says, I'm glad my parents did it that time, because now I don't even think before eating. I don't choose my food. I just eat whatever is given to me, because food is for hunger. Food is not for senses. Anything that we do, we don't do it for our senses. Anything that we do it for the basic need. Whatever is the need. Going with the senses is only a want. So raga dvesha is a want. Need is to just do whatever is needed at that, which is more connected to the source, which is more connected to the base. So that becomes then our ego again, and then that is a way of thawing our eye, the ego. Finally, he will then cut it off. Finally. We'll continue with the next one.
We started with Markandeya.
We started already, correct.
Yeah. All this we saw. Indra had brought all that. Celestial maidens, we saw all this, I think. Cobra.
No, Mova.
Tapas Samyama. Naranarayana. Yeah. He asks about Maya to Naranarayana.
Correct.
Which one you wanted? Yeah.
Indra, you want to read? Oh, go ahead, Bala.
This all we have completed. He gets the vision of Naranarayana. Yeah. So then Markandeya folded his palms, welcomed them, and then he asks, you pervade the universe, you are Brahma, Mahadeva, and you are the Atman inside me. You are the Lord of the power of speech, of the mind, and of the senses. You make men dance to call of the senses, and at the same time, you are the one to save man from this puppet show. This twin form of yours has been assumed by you for the good of the world.
Shall we read from the beginning of this paragraph?
I think, yeah. Indra, yeah. So basically, Indra had sent to, disturb the tapas of Markandeya, but nothing happened, Indra, that is why Indra saw Manmata and others returning to him, and their crestfallen look told him everything, and he was amazed that such a thing could happen. So Indra could not win over the tapas of Markandeya. So Markandeya's tapas was so rich. See, to Markandeya, who was rich in tapas, Svadhyaya and Samyama, came the Lord Narayana in the form of Nara and Narayana. One was dark and the other was fair. Their eyes were like the petals of a newly blown lotus. Each had 4 arms. They were dressed in deer skin and tree bark. Yes, we saw this. The description here is same as the description that was given to Markandeya himself. He was also dressed in the deer skin and tree bark. So the Lord also gives yam bhavam. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, in whatever bhava you worship me, I come in that bhava. Only then we recognize. Otherwise, we don't recognize that as a Lord also. Right? So he knows where we are, and accordingly he comes. Each had 4 arms. They were dressed in deer skin and tree bark. Pavitra, made of kusha grass, was found on their fingers, and the sacred white thread gleamed on their chests. Kamandalus were in their hands, japamalas and brahmadandas. Yeah. So whatever Markandeya was a tapasvi. So the personal form of the Lord for him is another tapasvi. So Naranarayana come there. Yeah, that is how we see in Bhagavatam, wherever they get the personal form of the Lord Darshan, it is a mirror of their own. For Bhishma, it was a Kshatriya Krishna who was a vision. For Kunti, it was the child who was a vision, right? So like that, it is all the beautiful scene that we always go through, right? When Krishna gets into that Kamsa's, wrestling, that ring, he actually enters that place where that is also another Dhanur Yajna, right? For which Kamsa had called Krishna and Balarama. And Krishna and Balarama, they enter. So it's a very beautiful thing where Bhagavatam, it says, as Krishna enters, the Gopas and the Gopikas are seeing him as a friend. Yeah? They feel that he is looking at him as a friend. Yeah, Devaki, Vasudeva, they feel that he is looking at him with so much of vatsalya, with so much of that, love for his parents. Kamsa, when he sees, he looks at him as an embodiment of fear. So, the Bhagavan is that reflection of what is in each one. Each one is relating to him like that. It is very beautifully pictured in that particular scene in Bhagavatam. Like that, so Nara Narayana are there, right there in front of Markandeya, showing themselves as a tapasvis. Markandeya thought that the tapas of all his ancestors of all times had taken forms and appeared before him. He stood up with great excitement and fell at their feet. He could not see them because tears blinded his eyes. He then folded his palms together and with faltering words welcomed them. He gave them argya, padya, and made them take their seats. He
The
worshipped them.
beauty,
Hmm?
Markandeya thought that the tapas of all his ancestors of all times had taken forms and appeared before him.
Yeah.
So again, look at his humility there. It's like he's not again taking. So it's not just his effort. And he knows it is like he is contributing it to the tapas of all his ancestors. Also, that is, yeah,
That's a
such,
beauty,
such humility.
Yes. A real tapasvi, as the tapas progresses, that the tapasvi will know. Initially, maybe he may think, that he has taken a sankalpa and doing it. But as the tapas progresses, it clearly is seen that it is definitely not possible with this, by this limited entity. Unless there is the grace of the Lord, there is grace of all the higher beings, such things are not possible. As simple as waking up, as simple as breathing, though we say these are very, the small activities that we do, it is not at all our effort. That is why we don't say I breathe, right? We know it is I'm pumping the blood. We don't say that because it is all happening with so many, forces coming together and in the presence of that divinity within. It's all happening. So every action is, although because of our scientific knowledge, we think conscious, unconscious actions. There are no conscious, unconscious actions. Everything is, even if a thought is arising, it is arising from the divine only. Yeah, unless this a thought comes and some thing is, some words are coming out, it is that inner divine and all the cosmic forces are, so many forces are working together for this to happen. So every little thing, we cannot attribute it to just our effort. So Markandeya thought that the tapas of all his ancestors of all times had taken forms and appeared before him. He stood up with great excitement and fell at their feet. He could not see them because tears blinded his eyes. He then folded his palms together and with faltering words welcomed them. See, the tears, it comes only when there is gratitude. Otherwise, it is, it doesn't, he is so filled with that gratitude. Only then it comes out. He gave them Argyapatya and made them take their seats. He worshipped them with flowers and incense. He composed himself and spoke words praising them. He said, Lord, you pervade the universe. You are Brahma, Mahadeva, and you are the Atman inside me. You are the Lord of the power of speech, of the mind, and of the senses. See? He clearly knows. It is a realization for him. That is truth for him. That is why he doesn't take credit for his effort. He knows the Lord of the power of speech, of the mind, and of the senses is him, is the Atman. Then,
so when we drink water, the power to quench the thirst is him.
yeah.
When we eat our food, the power to quench our hunger is him. It is the combination of the two which brings in that bliss. When the food comes and there is deep hunger, imagine we don't experience that. But if we've not eaten for a very long time and then food comes and there is deep hunger and food touches, there is that absolute bliss, you could say, at that time. So that power of being able to experience that hunger being satiated, which produces that bliss, Ananda, is nothing but him only.
Yeah. The other way, I recently heard Swami was saying, it was very funny also, but he was saying Nirvriti. Nirvriti can be given by him only. What is Nirvriti? That is the ultimate repose, release. Yeah. That
Yeah.
also is him only. Yeah. We feel that ultimate release. Oh, suddenly somewhere, when the exams are over, the last day, when the vacation starts, we all feel, appa, suddenly our shoulders are so, as students, all of us would have experienced that, right? After every annual exam or something. So that is Nirvriti. So he was saying, even at the physical level, that it is that power when that release happens.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you've been constipated for too long and that it releases, it's such a
huge, he only gives that.
yeah.
That release. So at the physical level, if it is like that, then imagine, oh my God, all that has been there in the mind, suddenly it is all like flushed
Flushed
out.
out.
Huge.
When it is let go, yes, that feeling is very light.
Yes. That's all is Nivritti, you see.
So
Yes.
the more we are with the base, with the need, the more we can feel the more and more, as we have more, the more we get caught with our senses, and because we are caught with our senses, we get caught with our mind, and we lose our connect with that basal feeling and go with the sense object. So if we can give ourselves the time, that is why fasting and all this has been prescribed as to do. One level is at a health level, at a physical health. But what is real health is physical flexibility, mental flexibility, spiritual flexibility, where there is no rigidity in any of this, whether it is at the physical plane, mental plane, or only if it is like this, then. So if we have to do this, to come out of that, we need to come out of our senses, to go beyond raga dvesha. To be that, we have to fast on food at the physical level, where if the food is there, it is okay, but I give myself, I say, I am not under your control, oh food. I will eat when I choose, I will choose when I will eat. That is what in fasting. Similarly, when my emotions are coming, I don't go with it, or my raga dvesha come up, I don't go with it. I say, I will choose when I need to look into you, or whether I need to look into you at all or not, whether it is my emotions or not. So that is our mental flexibility, because that is, then I'm exercising that freedom of choice at that point in time, which is freedom is our true nature, complete freedom. Freedom, inner freedom is what I'm talking about. Inner freedom, not the freedom from the outside. Whether the food is there or not, I am blissful. Whether that raga, dvesha, I get it or not, I am in the state of equanimity. So whatever comes along, I am able to accept that. So, and similarly, so that leads to spiritual stability and flexibility as well, in the sense that it makes me move more and more inwards. So it is his form. He is Brahma, he is Mahadeva, and he is the Atman also inside us. That is a very interesting, when we say this, he is Brahma, he is Mahadeva, no? I do this activity in the class with the children. So I'll take a paper, ask them to make a boat. Okay. So I'll take the boat, and then now I'll say, okay, now you crush the boat once. So after that, now you make it all right. Okay. So now you tear the boat. What will you do if you tear the boat? They'll say, I'll put a sellotape or something and fix it or something like that. So you do that. Now you have done so much to that boat. You have crushed it, you have put it, and then again you have put so many sellotapes everywhere. Now what do you do if that boat is not useful? They'll say, I'll throw it in the dustbin. I will crush it and throw it into a dustbin. If you need the boat again, you will create one more boat. So who was the one who created that boat first? Who made that boat? It was you. And then who was the one who was putting all the sellotapes and mending the whole thing? That was also you. Who was the one that finally said this is no good and throw it and destroy it in a way? That was also you. Similarly, it is the same. So it is the same that child who is manifesting as the creator, the preserver, or the destroyer. So like that, the Supreme is just one manifesting as the Brahma Mahadeva, and he is the Atman ultimately, the Brahman within. And it is he who manifests as the Brahma, the Mahadeva, and Vishnu as the preserver, and is acting in this world. Brahma is just a role being played. Like we play the role of a parent or a teacher or something. It is him playing a role of Brahma. It is him playing the role of Rudra. It is him playing the role of Vishnu, preserver.
I just wanted to share an anecdote. Once I was traveling from Bangalore to, I think from Pune to Bangalore, I was coming. And there was one couple and an old lady. All the three of them were senior people. They were Jains. And one lady was really sick. Actually, she was all the time lying down and this thing. So I just asked them as to what happened in this thing. So they said that, yeah, she has been fasting for last 90 days.
Wow.
So she is weak. So they have this vrat in Jain. I came to know only at that time that they eat little bit on one day and they fast fully on the other day, the next day, the following days. And when they fast, they don't even take water. Okay. So, and she was, you could see her that she is dehydrating and other things. And all they have to do on the days they fast is keep the japamala and keep on doing the japa. I said that if she is taking too sick, she need to go to the doctor and other things. वो हमारे हाथ में क्या है? If she goes, she goes.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
how
she's
their
taking
thing
the
is.
name of the Lord and she's going.
For them, it's okay if you
Yeah.
pass away in all that fasting, it is fine.
Yeah. That's how they look at it. That's what I've heard also.
Yeah, I mean,
Even young children do that. And there are few who also lose their lives and they think it is punya because, they are.
and it is kind of mandatory for them to do it.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying.
They do it out. It is
Shama Dama. The Dama is very, very strong.
they practice these.
You know, like in the Muslims, they when they keep the roza, in the Ramadan days, the sick and the pregnant ladies or the sick and the old who cannot fast are exempted from that. I mean, they don't do that, keep that roja. But here he was saying that there is nothing called like that.
Yeah.
In that they have, I mean, if they have they have taken the sankalpa, they have to do it. And if they
in
pass away,
Jainism,
they
it's
pass
a
away.
very strong thing. It's almost like the hatha yoga, hatha fasting, hatha, whatever they do it at that where we stop, they start. That's how they say for Jainism.
But in ours, it is not advocated like that, isn't it?
Yukta ahar viharasya, says Krishna.
Yuktahara viharasya, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, many of them advocate that, in the, that is what even Swami Vivekananda, he said, that how can you ask the hungry man to meditate? He said, first he needs the food, he said.
Yeah.
And that is how the Annadana concept came into being, that the temples started feeding people.
Yeah.
No, but it can be, it is like a hatha yoga. It is it can really detach one from the body also. It's not about right or wrong, it's about each person's practice.
Yeah, I mean, we have known that, if you see, I think in Swami Rama's book or something, the Himalayan masters or something, there he mentions that there was only food at 11 in the morning. So it is somehow they wouldn't, or even Sri M also, he says that 11 o'clock till 10:30, he wouldn't know where the food is coming from because he was not allowed to cook. And the Rishi that he was staying with, he didn't know. He said that it will come. Why are you worried? And by 11:15, the food would arrive in their cave somehow.
Yeah.
Somebody would give them the bhiksha or something like that. It would happen. But that was all the meal that they used to get.
Yeah.
And in Swami Rama's book also I've read that if in one of the times it was tested that he sent him for some work at about 11 o'clock, and he was very hungry at that time, and he was thinking, why is he sending me now? It is now to the time to eat. But he went, and he had to obey the his guru, so he went. By the time he came back, the food was not there. He said, what happened? No food today? He said, yeah, you were not there at that time, so the food is not there. So now you will get the food only in the next morning, next day, 11 o'clock. He was very angry. He was saying that, how can you do this to me? I get only food once. So he says that all day you are only thinking about that 11 o'clock food. So if you you have no time to think about the God or do dhyanam. So once I just wanted to test you that you say you take your mind off from that and you just divert your mind, and then you will forget about the food. So and he started doing that, and he said that he would not be aware that 11 o'clock has come and he has to eat and all those things. He said that's how he overcame the pranks of hunger. That's what.
We are very caught with the body that way, right? So
It's difficult but achievable, I think. Yeah.
I know of people who have done like 21 days just only on liquids and things like that. And then there was this person who said, one day everybody they were in a place. So you don't stop doing any activity because you are in that doing the 21 days activity, fasting or anything. You are just doing all the regular things that you have
Yeah,
to do.
exactly. Yeah.
And then this person, they all have met up and they were somewhere in some public place, and somebody else was having this some fruit salad or something like that, and there was just so much craving because on the 19th day there was so much craving that came up on seeing that, because only liquids, imagine, for 19 days have been only on this thing, and so much craving came up for that fruit salad, to have that salad. But then it was there almost for 2 to 3 hours, and once they overcame that, again the next 3 days went on very smoothly.
Hmm.
So it's all very, very deep tapas in a way.
Hmm. Actually, Mahatma Gandhi used to do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there in experiments with with truth, that is what once he had. I mean, his son was sick. He had a high fever, and Kasturba was telling that we have to take him to that doctor. He said no, and he just wrapped him up in the linen cloth, and he was taking care of him, and he fasted him. He fasted the child. He didn't give him food. And it was a test for 24 hours. And then slowly the temperature came down without any medicine. Just whatever. He used to experiment with all those things. Yeah.
So you are the lord of the power of speech, of the mind and the senses. That's a very powerful statement.
Mm.
The power of speech, just like the power of quenching the thirst in water is him, the words that come out, say the first sound that came out is Omkara. It is Nada Brahman, it is him only. And it is like that white light which disperses into multiple colors. It is that Nada Brahman which has then manifested in many different, as speech. First into so many words and then as speech itself. At every level, it is only that, whether the power of seeing, it is that original power of seeing, the drishti that manifests in many colors also, many forms and everything that we see. So at the root of all of that, it is only him that is playing through everything. So, so when you say power of speech, power of this thing, it is like anything I do, it is only Krishna. It is only Bhagwan. Any work, it doesn't matter what is the work, anything, or what is the words that are coming out. Everything, when it is him, when we realize this, automatically there is a change in the personality. When it is at the dharma level, I am doing it, it can be different, but when I am the tool and through which everything is happening comes in, the personality itself will change totally.
This is where Ramana Bhagavan's inquiry comes in. See, this is not something that it is not something that is done for some time, and then it is an incessant awareness. So that is why when Bhagavan was asked how to meditate, the answer he gave was find out the meditator. What it means is, now I want to meditate. Okay, who wants to meditate? Ask who is it that who wants. So when we constantly inquire, rather than inquiring, we can say inquire, what happens is the one who is truly within is, and the one who is constantly questioning subsides. So that is when we know that this individual is also asat. There is only one truth in which everything is happening. That comes as a when that comes as a realization, that becomes truth. And after that, when the body is still there, that is a pure channel for the Ishvara's will to flow through. That is how we see all the Mahatmas working. All the great Mahatmas. Pure instrument means they are in that. There is no individual will at all. It is pure Ishvara's will. As a sadhana, we also constantly move our attention from this mind, from this speech, to the one with the source. That is, what is the source? To the one which is, in which all these is happening. Yeah. So it's the power, the entire Kenopanishad. The very first question in Kenopanishad is, by what power am I talking? This is kind of the questions that children used to get in the Upanishadic times. Nowadays, we are so caught up with this outside thing that such questions do not come for us. Yeah. So when they were there in the forest, with so much time was the only thing that was there for them. In that, so such fundamental, by whose power am I, talking? By what power am I seeing? So the beautiful Ekashloki of Shankaracharya, that is how that dialogue is so beautiful. One devotee, he was a very old but scholar, Vedantic scholar. He meets Adi Shankara when Adi Shankara was going around in the country, traveling everywhere, So he meets there and he falls at the feet of Adi Shankara and he asks, I have read in all scriptures that it is that even in Bhagavad Gita it said, Jyoti Shamapi Jyoti. That Jyoti, what is that? So many Vedanta I have studied. I have reflected on so many things, yet that I'm unable to, even imagine or realize that ultimate Jyoti, what these scriptures are referring to. So, Adi Shankara, that's how that Guru takes him step by step, step by step. It is very beautiful. Adi Shankara asks him, okay, he says, by what light do you see during the day? He says, by sunlight. Hmm. During night, by what light do you see? He says, by the light of the lamp. If the lamp is not there, by the moonlight. Okay. When you are dreaming, by what light do you see? He says, dhi, which is buddhi. By the light of the buddhi, I see that. Because he had studied Vedanta and all that. He knew that. Okay. So, when you are in deep sleep, what is there? By what light do you see? So, that was the initiation for him. He closes his eyes, he thinks, and then says, oh, that is me. Yeah? Tadasmi Prabho. That is how it. So, that it is moving from the outer light to that inner light. This is what all the gurus, what they do is they take us from the outer light to the, and this constant moving from the outer light to the inner light is our sadhana, whatever you call it, upasana or sadhana, whatever it is. That is what, so that becomes the truth they hold on to. So this is a statement of realization. You are the Lord of the power of, so that light, yeah, in whose light the speech is happening, mind functioning, the entire Prakriti is functioning. So he realizes you are the Lord of the power of speech, of the mind, and of the senses. Yes. Very beautiful. Yeah, continue, Martin.
You are the Lord of the power. You make men dance to the call of the senses, and at the same time, you are the one to save man from his puppet show also. This twin forms of yours has been assumed by you for the good of the world. So one is Nara, the other is Narayana. Like a spider weaves his web with fiber from inside himself and later unwinds it and swallows it all. You create the universe and you are the one who withdraws it into yourself. So it is a manifestation. It is the whole world is a manifestation of the supreme reality. Like a spider web comes out of it, it comes out of the Brahman. The whole Prakriti comes out of the Purusha and goes back into the Purusha again. The Prakriti is ever-changing, temporary. The Purusha is eternal. Purusha is the supreme Brahman. So every thought of ours, every desire of ours, every emotion of ours is ever-changing and it is temporary. It comes and it goes, it comes and it goes. But what is permanent is that consciousness, that awareness, that knowing that I am there, that existence, that I exist. That is always there. In that, this comes and it goes. So, sukha dukkha same kritva labha labha jaya jaya. And no, this is the other one. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama payino nityaha tam stitikshasva bharata. Agama payino sukha dukkam and shita ushna, all this will come and go like day and night, come and go. Tam stitikshasva bharata, just endure. It is all his doing. At the end of the day, it comes and it goes. Do not either act on it, do not either be inaction. No inaction, no action. Just to be and go with whatever is needed. Endure and keep doing your duties. Stay with your duties at the level of your duties rather than at the level of pleasure or pain. Because pleasure or pain are the products of the mind. So it comes and it goes unless I hold on to it. It has come and it has gone, but I'm still holding on to it, which becomes my vasana.
Correct. So holding on to it is like the example that Bhagavan many times has given is all these are coming and going. They are going in very fast speed. Okay. I want to stand in the platform and hold on to a very fast moving train. I don't want to go with the train also. Yeah. So when I want to hold on to it and I want to stand in the platform also, finally, I'm just,
It has
taken
struggled.
by the force of that train. So that is the problem. We just have to leave it, stand in the platform. Yeah. And another thing very interesting here is, see, the spider weaves his web from inside himself. Yeah. So whatever is seen as the web is also the spider only. It is not different from the spider. That is why we say Vishwam, is Vishnu only, right? This entire manifestation is him only. So that is one prakriya. One way is be in that stillness, whatever that. The other one is see everything as Brahman. So when someone asks Ramana Bhagavan, this mind is so fluctuating, just like the question that Arjuna asks Chanchalam Himana Krishna, right? For that, Krishna says Abhyasa Vairagya. That is one thing that he gives, right? Ramana Bhagavan talks from that everything Brahman state. So he says, okay, that the one who asked, my mind is so chanchala, I'm not able to get the control of that. What do I do? So he was a Vaishnava, it seems. So Vaishnava Sampradaya. So Bhagavan asks, in your Vaishnava Sampradaya, you have Devata for everything, right? What is it for the mind? So that devotee says, mind is Tayar. Tayar is who? Lakshmi Devi. So Bhagavan, then what is the problem? Why do you want to control it? It is Lakshmi Devi, no? It is the Shakti only. Surrender to her. If we have to transcend the terrible, worship the terrible, says Swami Vivekananda. Surrender to that. That's all. The moment we see that also as divine, then we worship. The moment that becomes that, then it is not separate from Brahman. It is not a separate entity. When we give a separate entity thing, that is where we get caught.
So it is like the gold and the jewelry.
Yeah.
If I am focused on the jewelry, then I am caught with the senses. But immediately if I am reminded that that jewelry is actually, the substratum of the jewelry is gold, then that entity loses its hold over me. That object, that form loses its hold over me. When I remember the base, the substratum. But if I so like in a room, there is space, the same space is superimposed by the objects. When I look at the room and I ask what is there in the room, I will not say space. I will say there is a table, there is a computer. I look at the objects. This is the natural thing. But where is this laptop? Where is this table? It is in space. So I just have to shift that focus from this laptop to the space that it is in. Then the laptop blurs out and the space comes. It's like that in the Word document, you say what you send to back and bring to front. So then the space comes in front and the laptop goes back. It becomes blurred. Like that. So the objects of my mind are also similarly. The objects are in the Chidakasha, the space of the mind. And then I just note, it is not about divinizing the anger itself. It is not about divinizing the thought itself. It is knowing that underneath, the substratum of the thought is the supreme. Just shift the focus from the thought to the supreme. It is not that the thought itself is this thing. The thought is just merely an object superimposed on the supreme. So shift the focus from the thought to the supreme, which is like shifting the focus from the form to the gold. From the jewelry form of the gold to the jewelry. So then the form loses its
extend that manana So when we just see the space, when the focus shifts to the space, the laptop loses its boundary, its solidity.
Mm.
Even the space in the laptop, the focus is on the space actually. That solidity is not there. That is, everything is divine. So the thought or the desire loses its power. Just like how it is only space everywhere. You see, if we really look at, say, this object, yeah, even at the very scientific way of looking at it also, it is made of atoms and molecules, and then it is made of subatomic particles, and then you go within, finally it is only space. Yeah, at that level, there is no solidity at all. There is no boundary. Yeah, it is all space. Just at a very objective scientific way of looking at it. So similarly, when everything is looked as divine, means it loses its power. Completely loses it. It is not looked as anything separate. There is no solidity in it. There is no separate form. So he
For
is
one,
saying,
you want to say something?
Yeah, please go ahead.
For one who has found refuge at your lotus feet, there is no fear of karma clinging to him, nor will the gunas or time itself have an effect on him. I think just to reflect on this line. So the gunas within a sattva, rajas, tamas guna is like Chinmayanandaji will very beautifully say there is a bottle. The bottle has a certain color. In that color, you have put water. You have 3 different colored bottles and which is filled with water. Now, when you look at it from outside, it looks like it is green water, blue water, red water. But the water actually does not have any color. It is taking the color of the bottle because of the quality of the color of the bottle. So the gunas are like that. What we see as the person is only the way we behave, the way we act, the words and actions, or the personality as we see outside is like that red color, blue color, which makes us feel that this is who I am. But in reality, the water there has no guna. It is beyond guna. Similarly, the Atman has no such characteristics. The characteristics are only to the body. The gunas are only for the body, mind, equipments. Time elapsed is, there is a time factor when a particular thought comes up. From that time, there is a time elapse. There is a thought comes, and then as long as that thought stays, and finally the thought subsides, then there is a time elapsed. There is an emotion that comes up. When the emotion comes up and it stays, and the emotion subsides. So for anything, for time to be there, there has to be a different starting point and a different ending point. There is a starting point and an ending point. Then from the start to the end, when it starts and ends, there is a time elapsed. But now, before this feeling came up, this emotion came up, the Atman was there. When the thought was going on, the Atman is there. And after the thought also subsides, the Atman continues to be there. So because of this, Atman is anadi, beginningless, is not under the control of time. There is no time. It is anadi, it is beginningless, like that it is denoted by that dot The dot is dimensionless. A line has a beginning and an end, but a dot does not have a beginning and an end. It just is. It just is. So he is beyond time also. The time is a manifestation of Prakriti and not of the Purusha. So, for one who has found, so now if you have found refuge at the lotus feet, there is no guna influence, there is no time influence, and hence there is no karma. Everything is just happening. And hence none of this has any effect on him. This is the state of liberation. Ninth canto is all about liberation, moksha.
In those 10 things, no, that comes. What is the, for every canto, there is one.
Correct. I have to,
Just check. What is it for this canto? Ashrayama.
it's called something now, I'm not remembering.
Okay, we'll see that.
We will check it up next time.
Yes. Continue.
So, I have thought only of you, and now you have graced me with showing yourself to me. Nothing is greater than the touch of your feet. Once man is granted the sight of you, how can he still be devoted to this human body which is perishable, which is untrue, which serves no purpose, which hides the truth about the Atman from the mind of man? So the creation, the preserving and the destruction of this entire universe is but your Maya. So here we have to understand this beautifully. The thought is a Maya, the emotion is a Maya, and hence it is Prakriti. But Prakriti never exists by herself. She exists only along with the Purusha. So shift the focus from this Maya to the reality. The thought, anything, what is Maya? Anything that is perishable, anything that that has time, anything that has a beginning and an ending, anything that is temporary. All these is Maya. So a thought is Maya. All these are objects. All the objects or the entities are Maya, and they are superimposed on the reality. So the form is Maya, the jewelry, the chain is Maya, the earring is Maya, the gold is the supreme reality. So shift the focus from the entity to the substratum. Embellished as it is, the creation, the preserving and the destruction of this entire universe is but your Maya. Embellished as it is by the three gunas and the ignorance of man. I salute you, the Purusha, the omniscient, the eternal. You pervade the entire universe, my Lord, and there is nothing which can confine you. You are the Lord of everything, and I salute you. Man who is deluded by the subtle sway of the Indriyas loses the power of thinking. He does not realize your presence in the same Indriyas, in his life breath, in his heart. Caught in the web of Maya, which is your doing, the flounders in the sea of ignorance. It has been said that even the great Brahma, the creator, was for a time lost in this same avidya until you taught him the Vedas and made him realize the truth. I salute you, Lord of Lords. It is because of that avidya Brahma. Where did I come from? He goes down into that lotus stem, searches, but does not find, but comes back and says, yeah, when wants to show that. And he brings back that. What flower was that? No, he doesn't bring.
No, that is different. That
is
linga, no, that is Ketaki flower. No, but
Ketaki.
he comes back and then he thought of only you, right? Here also he said. So he completely gets absorbed in the thought of Narayana, and then is bestowed by Chatushloki Bhagavatam, the 4 that comes.
Yes.
See, this is also, see, all these things So someone is able to see, he is saluting the Purusha, the Omni. This kind of realization comes because he is given here, I have thought only of you. And now you have graced me with showing yourself to me. So the mind has to shift from the Asat to Sat. I may not know what Sat is. I don't know. Yeah. But just moving the mind from all that and staying itself is, that is what the Nama Japa does. That is what the, whatever Nama Japa, Mantra Japa, whatever we do, all that, what it does is satsangas and, chanting, all these, what it does is it shifts the mind from the Asat to his lotus feet. That is what is the lotus feet. So the more and more and more the mind is habituated to abide. So thought only of you, we know, right? Everything is there. Shravana, Kirtana, Archana, Padasevana, all the things that Bhagavatam has given us with all those means and methods constantly. The more and more and more we get caught with the Asat, it is very difficult to come out of it. So the only way to come out of Asat is to, shift the mind to Sat. Give ourselves that.
That is to shift the mind to Sat only. Ramana Maharishi would say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm having so many thoughts. Who is having the thought?
Yes.
So then you get back to the substrat. Constant remembrance of the power of speech is from him. The power of thought is also him. So who is that who is thinking? Who is that who is speaking? That's all. And shift the.
That is the constant.
We will read the last few lines again next time. Oh, it's almost, but we will do this next week. Time is up. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayah sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.